What a difference a few months can make. This time in December, none of us had even heard of the coronavirus. Today, we not only know about it, we can even spell it. What a difference a few days can make. This time last week, we were looking forward to the Knights of Columbus Bull and Oyster Roast and to Build's Mayoral Forum. Today, we'll be happy if we can celebrate Easter. If there's one thing the coronavirus has taught us, it's that life can turn on a dime. The stock market has crashed. Consider how many goods we depend on from China that won't be produced for quite some time. Consider how many trips and events and activities have been canceled, leaving vendors and consumers holding the bag. Consider how many people will be out of work and how many businesses will be out of people as we battle an illness that takes at least 2 weeks to defeat. The healthcare system is in overdrive. Consider the number of first responders and medical professionals who will be exposed to a virus that can spread like wildfire. Consider the number of patients who will crowd ERs and doctors' offices. Consider the demand for medication and hand sanitizer that won't be met. And fear is rampant. Consider the danger the virus presents to the elderly and those with compromised health conditions. Consider the need for childcare as schools and activities for children and youth are shuttered. Consider the vulnerability of households that have breadwinners in bed and income in limbo. And in light of all of this, consider our need for spiritual health. At a time when we all need to come together, we're being asked to stand 6 feet apart. At a time when we may feel vulnerable and isolated, we're being told not to touch each other. At a time when we need compassion for those who are sick, we're responding with horror when someone sniffles or sneezes in our presence. When we need God the most, we're closing our churches. The Archdiocese told its priests that the screens in confessionals might not protect us from the spread of germs, so that we should hear a person's confession from at least 6 feet away. How do you hear a confession from 6 feet away? It also issued a directive that priests and volunteers were not to visit parishioners in their home until the threat of the virus subsided. When I asked if someone is dying at home and the family requests the sacraments, are we supposed to deny that request? The response came, well, no, but be careful. Perhaps the hardest thing about this coronavirus is that it is challenging everything we would normally do to express kindness and care in order to protect our health. But isn't contradiction at the heart of what Jesus teaches? The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. The greatest among you must serve the least of all. Whoever seeks to preserve his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life will save it. You see, at the heart of faith is the reality that God's ways are not our ways, that God can make a way out of no way, that Jesus is the way. So at a time when we're being asked to act in a way that runs counter to all we know, maybe we are being challenged to do so with the heart of Jesus. So that when we distance ourselves or avoid physical contact with one another, it's not so much for our safety that we do so, as it is for the other person's safety. When we wash our hands frequently and reach for the hand sanitizer, it's not so much to rid ourselves of other people's germs, as it is to protect others from our germs. And when we are asked to stay at home if we're not feeling well, it's not so much to punish us for having the audacity to get sick, as it is to love our neighbor as ourselves by taking care of us both. You see, it's all a matter of whether we can look at things with the eyes of the Father, whether we can relate to others with the heart of the Son, and whether we can engage the world with the life of the Spirit. God tells us through the prophet Isaiah, "Do not fear, I am with you. Do not be anxious, I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my victorious right hand." but only if we remember that God's ways are not our ways. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.